So this video is going to be split up into 3 topics. The first will be a video analysis of a long ball strategy that Amorim used at Sporting that involves dragging the opposition high up the pitch, opening up space in the channel, and then using a long ball from deep in order to exploit the space. Before I then go to the tactics board in order to show you how Amorim could implement a similar tactic with Manchester United, which I actually think could be even more effective than with his Sporting side, with a few tactical tweaks. So here we see Sporting have possession with their goalkeeper inside of their own box, with Diomande pushing up from the central centre-back position to the edge of the box, forming what is essentially a double pivot with Morita, also deep on the edge of the box, with Heumann sitting slightly higher, in what is actually quite an unusual position. But if you think about it, this unique positioning puts Lille in a positional dilemma, as with the Lille front 4 man-to-man pressing Sporting's deeper players, with Lille's 2 wing-backs also pushing high up the flank ready to press Amorim's wing-backs, if Lille want to continue their man-to-man press and press Heumann man-to-man, they're going to have to push Angel Gomez up into the defensive third, which will see them committing all but 2 of their players forward to the man-to-man press, and so you can see Gomez is sitting about 5 to 10 yards deeper in order to negate the centre of the pitch being left completely vacant. You've got Trincao and Goncalves sitting in those deeper half-space positions, with Gyökeres maintaining a higher position on the halfway line, and so you can see Amorim's strategy is to have as many of these players as possible moving towards the ball, retaining deeper positions in the build-up phase in order to draw the opposition higher up the pitch, leaving space in behind, and we are going to see exactly why. So Sporting's keeper holds on the ball in an attempt to bait the press, and the press comes from Zagrova on the right side, which means that because the keeper is a free man for Sporting, once Zagrova leaves Matthias Rias, the left-sided centre-back, he becomes a free man, but because Zagrova has arced his movement towards Israel in goal, unfortunate last name, he can't play the pass directly into Rias, and so he uses him as the third man, bouncing the pass into Morita, who moves towards the ball into the box to open up the passing lane, turning his body position in to face Sporting's left side so that he can now bounce the ball first time out to Rias, who can now receive possession with Zagrova taken out of the game, with the baiting of the press and these 2 simple passes. However, as Rias receives the ball, this is where we see the variety in Amorim's possession strategy. As well as his primary strategy is to play short and quick passes through the centre or down the channels, he is willing to go more direct in order to progress the ball forward. But before I go any further, if you want to check out any new season jerseys or international club or retro jerseys, go over to Jersey FIFA. They've got a variety of different shirts. You can use code Atlantis at checkout for a discount. A link will be in my Instagram bio, which I will leave linked in the description. Rias receives possession and instantly gets the ball out of his feet, and this is Pedro Goncalves' cue to move towards the ball, firstly opening up a passing lane in case Rias wants to play the pass into his feet, but primarily to drag the Lille right-sided centre-back Diakite high up the pitch so that he alongside the right wing-back Thomas Meunier on that side are both drawn high, leaving space in that left-sided channel for Sporting. But as soon as Rias plays the long ball upfield, looking for Gyökeres, this is Goncalves' trigger to abruptly stop, change direction and look to burst in behind his presser, with his objective being to beat Diakite in the 1v1 and look to get goal side to receive the ball, and this will bring me on to a major point which I'm going to come on to in just a bit. But you can see where the space is. It's the right-sided centre-back and right wing-back for Lille getting drawn high up the pitch in the press, and so this opens up the opportunity for Gyökeres to move into the channel, receive the long ball from Rias, and this is where we see Gyökeres' quality and what Højlund has to develop in his game, as first time he's able to subtly knock the ball into Goncalves' path, who has spun and run off Diakite, and this is where I think the Manchester United squad could improve Amorim's system. You have Goncalves and Trincao in those 2 attacking midfield positions, either side of Gyökeres, and a lot of people seem to think that Garnacho and Rashford can't play here because they aren't attacking midfielders, they're wingers, and so they can't possibly play centrally. Well, that's just not true, and this is a perfect example of it, as in this type of situation where you need your 2 attacking midfielders to spin off their pressers and drive into the space that's been created by Amorim's centre forward, pulling out wide, having players with acceleration and pace just like Garnacho and Rashford is going to make this sort of direct attack a lot more effective. And we see this here as Goncalves does well to control Gyökeres' layoff on his chest, and now he's in a 1v1 battle with him and Diakite, with Trincao having to attack the space between the Lille left wing back and the left-sided centre-back. However, neither Goncalves or Trincao have the pace to be able to burst in behind the back line from this position, showing the individual limitations that Amorim had in his Sporting system. And you can clearly see that if he had 2 players who were more explosive in these 2 attacking midfield positions either side of Gyökeres, Sporting would have been able to drive through the Lille midfield and defence and probably get into a higher XG shooting position. But how could Ruben Amorim use this type of long ball strategy at Manchester United? Well, I do think you would need some slight positional adaptations. If Amorim was going to use the exact same positional setup, you'd probably have Lisandro Martinez in the back three, performing that Diomande role, and pushing up to the edge of the box alongside Manu, with Bruno Fernandes then being given the freedom to push up from the midfield double pivot and sitting behind the opposition's midfield line press, with Mazraoui and Dalot, the two wing backs, taking up these deeper positions on the flank, with De Ligt being the player to shift out to this left-sided centre-back position. However, I would adapt the setup to something like this, with Dalot being the player to invert to the edge of the box alongside Manu, with Martinez, De Ligt, Onana and Euro forming a narrow back four, with Mazraoui pushing slightly higher up the right flank because of Euro's wider positioning in a narrow back four, with Rashford actually dropping into a wider and deeper position on the flank, and Ahmad and Bruno Fernandes both holding those narrow central positions, with Højlund holding a high position like Gyökeres on the halfway line. From here, Onana plays a goal kick or just a pass from open play into De Ligt on the left side, and this is going to be Martinez and Dalot's trigger to shift over to that left side, with Manu and Euro doing the same if United choose to build out down the right side. And from here, with Rashford dropping deeper in the channel to open up a passing lane if the pass goes into Martinez, the opposition's right back is going to get dragged further up the pitch, but also with De Ligt, Martinez, Dalot and Rashford all within a 20x20 area, this opens up a lot of passing lanes, with De Ligt able to go wide to Martinez, or alternatively he could split the opposition's wide midfielder and right-sided forward with a line-breaking pass into Dalot, who then has the ability to knock the ball off either side, but crucially because Højlund has retained a high position, whilst every other Manchester United player has dropped deep to aid in the build-up phase, the opposition likely is going to have to leave one of Ahmad or Bruno Fernandes free in behind their midfield line in that central position, if they do want to continue their aggressive man-to-man press in United's defensive third, or they are going to have to leave Højlund 1v1 on the halfway line. And if United can develop their ability to play short and quick passes through the centre of a press, this is going to allow them to play through man-to-man pressure when the opposition doesn't fully commit, or if they get their timing and positioning wrong in the forward and midfield line. However, if they do fully commit to the man-to-man press, cutting off all the passing lanes between the lines and forcing De Ligt out to Martinez, now Amorim's side can look to use a similar pass up the channel from Martinez, with Højlund spinning into that area, where from now if Højlund can look to knock the ball down into one of Bruno or Ahmad, who hopefully should be free in behind the opposition's midfield line press, with this also being a trigger for Rashford and Mazraoui on the flanks to spin in behind their pressers and drive into the space they've created by dragging their pressing players high up the pitch, with Dalot and Manu also doing the same in the centre. Now United have created a very dangerous artificial counter-attacking situation, and this is why I preferred Dalot in this higher position on the edge of the box compared to Martinez, as well as Rashford and Mazraoui in these deeper positions on the flanks compared to Ahmad and Bruno, purely because they're going to be quicker when they turn after the long ball, therefore giving United a better chance of overloading the opposition in the middle third if Højlund is able to link the attack with a layoff into Ahmad or Bruno Fernandes. So in a future video I'm going to be going into more detailed analysis on how Amorim can use each front three, what sort of players would fit together, what sort of patterns of play he could be looking to use. But certainly if he is going to be using this sort of possession strategy where he needs those attacking midfielders to be able to spin off their pressers and join the attack and really add some pace to the attack through the centre, I think Rashford and Garnacho could thrive in this sort of role. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. You can also sign up to my in-game analysis Instagram group chat. I will be doing in-game analysis for the Manchester United Ipswich game, so I'll leave my Patreon linked in the description, the comment section, and of course on the end screen right now.